Hey guys, my name's Sylvester Barzey. I am the creator of Planet Dead, Bloodthirsty, the first book in the Planet Dead series. And I've been asked to do a Q&A. So, pretty excited about it. I don't get asked to do many Q&As. I've been on a few interviews, which have been cool. But I'm just now starting. So, uh, it took me a while to get this done because a lot of personal things happened. Sorry. A lot of personal things happened in my life. My father just passed, so it took me a while to get my head together. But I think I'm ready to do this now. So let's get started with your first question. Let's see. It's when you are writing, what is a good day's work? Do you have a minimum word count, or is it more about getting an idea down on paper? I have a 3-year-old and a amazing wife who want a lot of my time. So it's just, for me, I don't really have word counts. I go at it when I can. I wake up early. I knock out a few pages or two, and then if I get some more time in the day, I do that. Like, I do like to hit some goals. Like, I normally plot it all out in my head, and once I hit a scene that I've been thinking about, then that's kind of successful for me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm good. I don't have to keep going for today. But as far as word counts and things go, no, I just write and knock out as many words as I can. All right. How do you visualize your writing? Do you see it as a movie on a screen or through the eyes of your character? Well, growing up, I wasn't big on reading growing up. I read a lot now because it'd be stupid to try and write and not read. But yeah, I wasn't big on reading, so I watched a ton of horror movies. So yeah, when I write, that's just how I picture it. I picture it like a movie in my head, and just from beginning to end, soundtrack and all. Like, when I start thinking about my characters, I like cast them kind of with actual actors and stuff. So it all plays out like a movie in my head. Who is your favorite writer and why? I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, but Stephen King. Just because he's so versatile, it's like he's not just horror. He could do a whole bunch of things, which is, that's kind of like what I would want to be known for. Like, I love horror and I love zombies, but I like writing thrillers. I like suspense. I like branching out sometimes. So I like his career and what he's done. When did you know you wanted to be a writer? I've always loved writing. I've written poems, short stories, everything. I've always loved writing, but I never saw it as like a career that I could actually get. Like, I knew tons of other people could do it, but I was just like, I didn't think I was good enough to do it. And then, like, in 2010, I was writing short stories, and I was like, I'll try and write a novel. And that novel became Planet Dead, and it was just gonna be my personal novel. And then, like, a year or two ago, I decided that I was just gonna suck it up and make it my goal to get my book published. And it's gone pretty well now. So I guess I've always wanted to be a writer, but mostly this year and last year I decided to make it a full-on career. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm full-time writing now. It's stressful at times, but it's fun. I love it. What was the first thing you wrote that made you think you could take it further? I guess Planet Dead. Yeah. I mean, Planet Dead, because that was in 2010, so that was like 7 years ago. And like, I showed it to a lot of my friends. I showed it to anyone that would read it. and they all enjoyed it. They liked the story and the concept. It was a way different story back then. It evolved a lot. Like when it first started, it was supposed to be 3 stories that formed into one, and the stories would alternate throughout the chapters. So it'd be like Catherine's story, then Jennifer's story, then Robert's story, and it just keeps alternating back and forth. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. And then I fell out of love with like Jennifer's story, and then I was like, okay, well I'll just do Catherine and Robert. And then like as I got closer and closer to publishing, I was just like, I think I'll just do Catherine because I enjoyed her story way more. Like, I mean, Robert's story and Jennifer's story, I love them. But Catherine, I noticed, was the one that I was focused on, and I was bringing more and putting more words into all her chapters. So she became the focus of the story, and I just thought she was a badass, and she deserved her story told. All right, question 6. You guys got some good questions, by the way. How do you start writing a book or a story? Does it start with a character or a theme? It starts with a theme, I guess. It definitely starts with a theme because, like, I don't really, like, at times, if you notice, I don't really name my characters until, like, they're established. Like, you don't learn Sue's name until, like, halfway into chapter 1. And the only reason you know Catherine's name is because of the dream. So it definitely starts with a theme. I think of a creepy concept or just something different. Like for Planet Dead, I just wanted to do something different. I didn't want it to be just the same survival story. I wanted it to be her hunting for her family and just random shit happening to her, like things you just wouldn't suspect. And I definitely wanted to dive into the horrors that man can do versus what the zombies can do. So yeah, I guess my whole theme for Planet Dead was that you can't trust everybody, and that's what slowly starts to unfold in the book. So yeah, it started with a theme, and then I built the characters off the themes. All right. What inspires you to write? Do you ever get writer's block? I hear a lot of things about writer's block. Like I hear like it's imaginary or it's just like a different form of procrastination and that inspiration isn't real. So I don't know. I guess some days I'll be like, oh, I have no idea what I'm gonna write. So if I can't think of something to write for Planet Dead or any book that I'm working on at the time, I shift and I work on something else. Like I guess that's why I like to have a few projects going at once. Like when I can't get the pages down for book 2, I start writing the short stories for the anthologies that I'm in, or I start writing novellas for the Planet Dead series. So I'm juggling. I'm just keep going. There's no like definitive writer's block for me. There's not going to be a day where I'm going to be like, I can't write unless I'm like emotionally unstable or something, or if I just can't take the day. That'll probably be the only time I'm not writing. What are you writing at the moment? What plans do you have for the future? At the moment, I am writing Planet Dead, The Beginning, which is book 2 in the Planet Dead series, but it's really a prequel because it takes place, Planet Dead takes place in 2019, so it takes place in 2017, so it takes place 2 years before the events of Planet Dead, and you learn a lot about characters from Planet Dead that you didn't know. Like, not like the main characters, not like Sue and Catherine. You learn more about, Dr. Brooks and Patient Zero and just the whole fiasco. You learn a lot more about the outbreak as a whole. So, that's what I'm working on right now, and my plans for the future is just to keep pushing out things, like keep getting my name out there. That's why I'm in so many anthologies right now. I'm working on a rock and roll ghost story for Descent into Darkness. Working on a short story about the ringmaster from Planet Dead Bloodthirsty, and Mad Like Me. I'm working on the Mad Like Me anthology, and that one's gonna be about a nurse whose family was killed by a serial killer, and she exacts her revenge by getting him admitted to her mental institution. So, yeah. I got a lot of things. Like, I got a lot of goals in my head, and I just gotta keep pushing. All right. What is on your Kindle and your to read list? Oh, where is my Kindle? You know what? I'll actually show you. I'm reading a few things right now. I also read books besides ebooks. Like, I got Dread. I just picked that up. So I'm gonna dive into that after I finish some of my books on my Kindle. And on my Kindle, I am reading at the moment. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm reading Safe Haven. Safe Haven by Christopher. I mean, everybody's loving that book so far. Ooh, yeah, you can't even see it on the screen, so I'll just read them off to you. I'm reading Safe Haven. I'm reading Hell on Earth, Zombie Fallout 2, and the Alder Dominion. I think the Alder Dominion. I'm really bad at pronouncing things. Don't judge my writing by my reading. It's totally different. Okay, so yeah, like I guess it's just like writing too. Like if I get tired of a story or something, I read them like in chapters. I'll read one chapter for one book and then one chapter for another book. I just keep going because I just kind of like different things and definitely like different stories. Reading's taking up so much of my television time. Like I kind of knocked out TV, which my wife hates because we were binge watchers, like Netflix binge watched everything, and now I'm just like, yeah, I gotta get some writing done. Oh, I'm gonna read this chapter, and she's like, fine, I'm gonna watch it without you. So she left me behind on a lot of shows. Okay. Okay. What advice would you give to someone thinking about starting work on their first novel? Just like sit down and get to know your craft, basically. Like not before I started writing. Like I started writing a while ago, but when I decided I wanted to make it a career, I started listening to podcasts and following other writers. Like I was listening to podcasts like every day. The Word Slinger podcast, Smarter Artist. I was just binging all that, and then just like walking to work, I'd have it in my ears. YouTube videos. I watched a lot of YouTube videos by Jenna Moreci. She's the writer of the Eve Chronicles. I think it's the Eve Chronicles. That's what it's called. But she's an amazing source for just writing knowledge, and I loved it. And Joanna Penn, the Creative Penn. Like I listen to the Creative Penn like all the time. So it's just that, like when you decide that, because writing's one thing, making it a hobby is totally fine. You can sit down and you can write all day. But when you decide that it's going to be a career and it's going to be a business, then you have to take the steps to learn more about it. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to put it out there, and it's going to be amazing. Like, that's great, but then you got to market it, then you got to learn about the advertising, then you got to just figure things out. Like, learn about your money. You're putting money into it to make it better. You gotta make sure you're getting more out of it. So that's the only thing that I can say. It's a great dream to chase, but you also gotta do your homework. So let's see the next set of questions. Oh wait, hold up. Okay, here we go. Is there a character that you consider to be autobiographically inspired? I guess, like, it's weird because, like, Peter is named after me. Like, my middle name's Peter, which is my grandpa's name. But I relate more to Catherine. Like, Catherine's a badass, but her biggest issue is that she's very trusting, and she'll trust people before she gets to know them, and that always leads her down the wrong path. And that's what I ran into a lot in my life. I would just always be so trusting and wanting to help people out, and sometimes it just didn't end well. So I guess she'd be biographical, and in the next book, Christian's battling with the death of his father. So there's gonna be a lot of me in that, I guess. So those are my two characters. So sorry, I'm leaning in. I don't have my glasses, so I gotta lean in to read these. If you could talk to any author, dead or alive, who would it be? Oh, hands down, it'd be Edgar Allan Poe. I would love to just sit down and pick his brain, or just talk to him, drink with him. Just like, I guess I said Stephen King's my favorite author, but I'm just fascinated by Poe. I'm fascinated by his poems, his short stories, his life, his death. It's just all so, I don't know, like haunting. It's like you can't even figure out him to the full extent, I guess. And so if I had the power to go back in time and talk to him, I would. So I'll do that. Do you listen to music when you write? Yes, actually, I create soundtracks for each book that I'm writing, and I'll listen to them. Like, each song will probably like represent a chapter or represent an event in that chapter, and I'll just when I'm in that chapter, I'll just put that song on loop, and I'll just keep going. If there's days where I can't, like, actually, I can listen to music with lyrics, or I can listen to instrumental music, but I can't, like, listen to podcasts, or I can't listen to somebody talking. I can't do that. Like, it just throws me all off. But yeah, I'll sit down, I'll throw on some Snow the Product, or Nickelback, or whatever made it into the soundtrack for the book, and then I'll just start knocking it out. If there would be a curse, would you prefer to live forever alone, or offer eternal life to a loved one? If I was cursed, would I prefer to live forever, live alone, or offer eternal life to a loved one? It's hard. I don't think any of my loved ones want eternal life. I don't think so. And as much as I do like being alone, because sometimes I just don't want to be around people, I don't think I could do like a whole existence alone. Living forever would be pretty cool. Although you see everyone that you love die and pass away, but yeah, I think if I had to be cursed, I'd live forever. Yeah. Like Keanu Reeves. Definitely. This is a zombie group, so please, what is your weapon of choice in a zombie? I love machetes. Machetes, just like, my family is from the Caribbean, so like my mom has like a machete at every door. which is kind of creepy when you think about it, I guess. But you know, she's prepared. So I like machetes because I just feel like I can't wield a katana, and I don't. So I'd probably hurt myself. But I think I could swing a machete. I think I could just whack them. I think I'd be good at that. So that, and I probably even I don't think I'd be really looking for like, you know, ammunition or rifles or anything because I don't want to attract any noise. I'll probably be one of those people that just go in and out. You won't even know that I'm in town. Alright. This is the last question, I believe. Fast zombies versus slow zombies. What did you decide for one type? Oh, why did you decide for one type and not the other? Actually, like, okay, everybody says like fast zombies and slow zombies, but in my head, this is how it works. Like, well, in my book, I can say that now. In my book, every zombie has the ability to be fast until like their ligaments and stuff tear. So it's like the zombie, when he's fresh, can go full on sprinting, just like any human being can. But since they can't feel pain, eventually they're just going to tear their ligaments, they're going to tear their muscles, they're not going to regenerate. And then they'll become the slow moving zombies. So that's how I see it. So I see it like there's a full burst of fear, and then boom, you got those regular zombies. So you never know what you're going to run into in my world. So it could be slow, it could be fast. It's really just to the point of when that person turned. But as far as that goes, we have your regular Romero zombies, and then we have your like 28 days later souped up zombies. So I call them the Bloodthirsty. And the Bloodthirsty are just like, I wouldn't say they're genetically enhanced because it's not something that human beings created, but they are far more advanced than your regular zombies. They're intelligent in the way that they hunt you down. They're all basically uniformed in how they look except for size. They're bald. They're like got trans. Dang. Can't believe I forgot this word. Anyway, their skin is basically kind of see-through, so you just see a whole bunch of blood vessels, and they're just like freakishly creepy with black eyes. And the best thing about the Bloodthirsty is they don't really replicate. They don't really replicate. They just attack and they eat until there's nothing left. So there's nothing that's going to turn into a Bloodthirsty. But they're so dangerous that they are the real threat to humanity versus the zombies. So, and Bloodthirsties, they eat zombies, they eat people, they eat whatever they run into. So that's basically it for me. Can't just live on one zombie alone. I like variety. So that was pretty awesome. I think I hit all the questions. I did. So if you guys have any more questions, you can email me them at author@sylvesterbarzey.com. And if you haven't picked up Planet Dead, pick it up, check it out. Yeah, I think it's an amazing story, and I'm gonna keep going with it. So you're gonna see Planet Dead for a while. All right, thanks, guys.